Hello, folks. Hello, friends. Welcome back yet again to more destruction at Disney World. This is out of Disney Tourist blog by the great Tom Bricker. Disney World prepares to close Frontierland shortcut during Piston Peak Cars construction. Will it ever be coming back again? Well, let's find out. It says Walt Disney World has filed curious permits for a trio of locations at Magic Kingdom that likely relate to Cars construction. While unconfirmed at this point, it's our expectation that these involve the demolition or removal of the venues to lay the groundwork for the closure of the Frontierland shortcut. Now, what is the shortcut? Are we talking about? Let's go to the Google Maps real quick. Are we talking about the Frontierland shortcut that's between Adventureland? Is that what we're talking about, guys? Do you all know?
It's got to be, because that's really the quickest way to get to Frontierland and Adventureland.
Is that the one with the sunglass hut and the bathrooms on the other side?
Yes.
Well, and isn't that right in front of the Country Bears?
Yes.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, the reason that they're getting ready to close this, apparently, and maybe forever, we don't know, is because they're going to remove the pathing over here, or at least it's not going to be available. And it sounds like they're also going to remove all of these stands that you see over here, all of these kiosks and stands. These three, 1, 2, 3, are going bye-bye and maybe never, ever to return. In fact, I would say the chances of them returning is extremely low. So get your turkey legs while you can.
Where am I going to get my giant candy bacon from? I think candy bacon.
Or the raccoon tail hat. Those kiosks say Frontierland without saying Frontierland. You can actually get all the little knickknacks from like the good old Western times, that's a shame. So they're going to replace all of those little kiosks that belong rightfully in Frontierland with Ka-chow Ka-chinga merch. That's what they're going to do. Yeah, they are.
Continuing on out of Disney Tourist blog, it says scope of work is listed as the generic and vague, provide labor, material, and or electrical for construction. Expiration is the default 1 year. You get the idea, but here's what it says. The addresses correspond to 3 separate food and beverage and merchandise locations along the Frontierland thoroughfare. Big Al's, as well as Westward Ho and Churro Wagon Cart, both snack stands. At the risk of stating the obvious, it is highly unlikely that Walt Disney World is actually constructing something at 3 separate stuff and snack stands in Frontierland. Kiosks, we might add, that abut the former waterfront walkway, which abuts the construction zone for Cars and Villains Land and Magic Kingdom. So basically, and by the way, they say that this is not, you can see the current construction efforts right here. They say that this is not being filed by Imagineering, which is to say that it's not being filed by anybody who's going to make something better come our way, but rather this is going into a category that indicates it's just going to get destroyed. So they're literally going to come in and destroy these kiosks and stands in Frontierland. And this is why a lot of people are worried that Frontierland is just flat out going away. Because once you remove this streetmosphere, this atmosphere, the sights, the smells of Frontierland, what is there left to make this be worth visiting? And all of this, the Frontier Shooting Arcade has been turned into a DVC. People are beginning to wonder, what will be left of Frontierland when it's over, other than Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Big Thunder over here. So panel, does this matter? Is it a big deal? Do we have to say that Frontierland is going away, or is this just a minor thing if the boardwalk and the kiosks and all that head on out of there? Is it still the same magic, or are they really desecrating Frontierland to do what they want to do? Culture, let's start with you. Unmutify, sir.
Well, I don't think there's much of Frontierland left at that point, honestly. The area that they're talking about, and those kiosks specifically that have always abutted that area and kind of, caused pedestrian traffic to skirt around them and everything else. They were part of the ambiance of Frontierland. If you didn't take the shortcut bridge, which, was out over the water in order to navigate around some of the traffic in that area.
Maybe that's what they're talking about, Culture. Maybe the shortcut bridge is what's getting demolished. Maybe not the shortcut between Adventureland and Frontierland.
And that's a possibility. And if that's the case, I mean, that again, it would make sense. There's no more water anymore. You're not, pathing over the water to have a more abbreviated tour around the lagoon there. But I look at it, and I'm like, so if those are gone, there's only like the Western shop facades that are on the other side of that street. There's not a lot left. Yeah, that's it. Because there you go. There's that bridge. There's that pathway.
And that bridge is really, really cool. And, you know, it's one of those things that gives that sense of, you know, it's something unique to Disney. Like, who else is going to build now a boardwalk for a frontier town? Like, no theme park's going to do that. And we're just losing what makes everything novel and fun and immersive in Magic Kingdom. So we can put in plastic cars.
I really don't think it's going to be the area that the little shortcut area that connects Adventureland to Frontierland, because they would have to pull massive permits to get rid of the restrooms and the water fountains, and that costs a lot of money. And I don't think they want to spend more money than what they're spending already. Half of this park is already under construction, and I think they pulled another permit over at the Big Thunder Mountain because they still don't have an opening for that. And I think the theming, they said it's not changing, but I don't know. I have a hunch it's going to change, because this whole area, I remember back like about a year or two ago, Mickey's Views, Braden was talking about how he was afraid of that one restaurant that's right after Tiana's. I forget what it's called. They serve like Tex-Mex.
Are you talking about Pecos Bills?
Yeah, he was talking about that, how that would change to like a more of a New Orleans cuisine. He was making some predictions, and Braden usually is right on target when he makes a prediction.
So real quick, let me say, Braden was on the money with that. Disney appears to have abandoned changing that to a Tiana's themed restaurant because of the poor reception of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And by that, what I mean is they would love to still do it. I mean, they would go for it 100% gung ho. Problem is they can't sell gumbo. At the Critter Co-op, nobody's buying the merchandise for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and that's why they're stuck. Even if they wanted to, and they want to, even if they wanted to do all that kind of stuff with the restaurant, if they can't even move merchandise in the after the ride souvenir shop, they're stuck.
That's because the Bananas Foster chocolate bar is one of the worst things I've ever tasted in my entire life. That thing is so disgusting.
Where did you buy that at?
The Bananas Foster, that is Tiana's chocolate bar that's sold right there at the Critter Country or whatever.
I did not know that. Never tried it.
Do not waste your time or your money
nasty.
on the beignets. Those beignets in Magic Kingdom have nothing compared to French Quarter over at the Riverside Resort.
Okay, but hold just a second.
That's true.
This is where we've gone, right? We used to have Aunt Polly's that served lemonade and all that. Like Frontierland was Frontierland. Now we're talking about beignets in Frontierland. This is not, they've already watered it down. And by that, I mean, they took the water out of there, but they've watered it down to the point it's not even Frontierland anymore.
And with that, I was wondering, are they going to change the name of this? Because I know that they had talked about redefining what the word Frontierland meant when they're bringing in Piston Peak, which doesn't make any sense. Like, the American frontier is a historical time period and place. It goes from basically St. Louis, the St. Louis Arch, which is the Westward National Expansion Memorial, all the way out west. That was the whole point. That was the American frontier, the unknown at that time. And as you go through Main Street and you turn left in the Magic Kingdom, the whole idea was that you were going through American history from Liberty Square, where America was founded, out to the Frontierland, the Old West. Now, if you veered off to Adventureland, those were the fantasies that the stories that were told by those people. So that's why you got stories of the pirates and the Caribbean. That's why you got the Jungle Cruise. It was all very well themed and very connected, especially for, having been conceived initially in the 1950s and then for the Magic Kingdom in the 1960s and opened in 71. And it all worked. It all gelled together well. This isn't about theming. This is about what IP can we stick where and work our square peg into the round hole and then charge people extra money because we can open up 3, 4, 5 new lightning lanes. I mean, that's really what this is about.
Yeah, and there's a person in the live chat that makes an important point. They got rid of the little shooting gallery, the little thing that little kids can play. if they're just having some downtime in between attractions, or maybe mom and dad want to sit on the bench, they can, play with the little, the Western shooting gallery. Now it's a DVC lounge. So it's like they're just little by little getting rid of anything that Walt intended. He wanted people to be able to come from all over the world and understand and experience of what America is and how it, what it's all about. And it's all about this is a country of so much history, and we have so much to tell. And Walt was very passionate about that. And that's what he wanted. That's his intentions for this whole park. That's what he wanted. And, he even talked about how money was not important. He just wanted people to come and have a good time and understand what they were walking into, so they could actually feel what it was back in the Western times, like Ron was explaining. It's just a shame that we're going in such a different direction, and American history is being torn out of these parks. And thank God they exist in other theme parks in other parts of the country, because Dollywood is hitting it right on the nail with Americana theming. Absolutely.
Well, folks, if you enjoyed the smells and the sights of Frontierland and you thought everything was all right, eating a turkey leg and just, taking it all in, it's going to be different. It's going to be strange. There's some debate now about whether or not that construction area is the stream or whether it's the walls to the mountains. If that's the walls to the mountains, the stream is even smaller than if the footers we see are the stream, because you can see just how close it comes to the walkways, the pathways, the boardwalk at Frontierland. So look out. Look out. This is going to be a downgrade like we've never seen before, unfortunately. And Josh D'Amaro building a Tomorrowland that nobody wanted. Culture, final word from you, sir. Unmutify, Culture.
Sorry, I didn't want my coffee to make noise, but I'll say this: I feel like it's a shame the way the parks are being treated these days and redevelopment's being treated, because they put so much time and effort into the architectural details and kept it very period specific. As you venture through the park, those are things that the guests notice. The fact that the facades on one side in Frontierland double as the other side of the things in Adventureland, and all the similar things that happen throughout this park when they design something. It seems very thoughtless to me the way they're going about any kind of redevelopment, because they aren't keeping within the story, as Ron said. And I fear that storytelling isn't just being abandoned; it's being erased. And I think that's basically this is history erasing redevelopment, and that usually comes from a very devious and dangerous place, especially in the political crossover with what's happening inside the culture of the company itself.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.